Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are back here with our friend Shaq Wukong. Excited to have him here as the owner at God Hand Reiki and Acupressure. Yeah, we're talking about the modalities he uses to help you. And there's so many different ways energetically that he can help you. And once again, we want to welcome you back. How are you today?
I am awesome, Jill. I am awesome. How are you?
I'm
It is
trying to
great.
channel you. I love your background. For those of you just on the podcast, you can't see if you're on the Zoomcast, but you have those like paisley things. Look, I picked out a shirt today in honor of you. See, you didn't even know it.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
trying to
Yeah,
match your background.
I
It's
love
kind of
it.
tribal, like Indian. I don't know what it is, but I'm like trying to match.
It's
So,
stylish. And the hair, too. I love your haircut. I see
oh,
you
thank.
have a
Yeah,
new
yeah, no, I took out
style.
my hair extensions, what it is, so it's shorter. It's in a ponytail. But
Oh,
thank you. And I like your
you.
hair always.
Thank
Please, for those that may not know of you yet, today may be the first time tuning in. Tell us about the work you do, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shaq Wukong. I am the owner of God Hand Reiki and Acupressure. I am a Reiki master teacher as well as a acupressure specialist. I heal people with Reiki and acupressure, and I also offer percussive therapy to athletes and people who also need some musculoskeletal realignment and healing and relief.
Yay. Well, we're happy to have you back here. And to also mention that everyone, he's from Boston, Massachusetts, but clearly working with clients all over the world.
Right.
Shaq, what did you have in mind for us today? What did you want to get into for everyone?
Well, why don't we start out with a little brief explanation of what Reiki is for those
Mm-hmm.
who are unaware, and then we can take it from there.
Sure.
So, first of all, Reiki is a hands-on holistic healing practice that originated in Japan. However, its origins can be traced back to ancient times. It's a traditional form of what we could call electromagnetic therapy,
Mm-hmm.
in that it uses the electromagnetic energy generated from our hearts and our brains to project healing energy through the hands via a combination of intention and feeling. It's basically heart and brain coherence in action, because health is our natural state of being. And when we're thrown into the stress response, we are knocked out of balance. But the stress response ultimately is our body's attempt to get back into that balance. But when we're in stress, it's not a time to create, it's not a
Mm-hmm.
time to heal, it's not a time to be, right? It's a time to burn the boats
True.
and get away
True.
from danger. But
Mm-hmm.
no person, animal, no man or beast is meant to be in the stress response for an extended period of time. So ultimately, Reiki
Yeah.
is a practice to help us get back to our natural state of being, which is health, baby.
Well, thank you for being here. I know you guided us on the journey last week a little with me, sending me Reiki energy and healing for, chronic pain could be something someone's suffering with. Like I mentioned you, IBS, but people dealing with I know like fibromyalgia, people dealing with osteoporosis, really having bone muscle pain, aches, fatigue. I mean, those are all things, including stress, that you can work on as well, right?
Right, arthritis,
That's the one I was trying to get out. Yeah.
panic attacks, yeah, IBS, even menstrual cramps. I help clients with those. Um, all types of physical and mental or emotional ailments. Anything that's knocking us out of our natural state of being, which, like I said earlier, is health. Because, like I said, the stress response is our body's attempt to get back into balance, but ultimately it puts us in a bad way. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And the stress response is generated, or the hormones of of stress ultimately come from emotions like anger, frustration, hostility, aggression, hatred, judgment,
Hmm.
fear, anxiety, insecurity, sadness. All these things carry an energetic frequency that ultimately causes hormones to be generated in our body to give us bad states of being. And
Hmm.
so ultimately the Reiki and the acupressure are two ways for us to get back into our natural state of health. And Reiki, unlike acupressure, which is different from acupuncture, I want to make that distinction clear as well, that I don't poke anyone with needles. I use my hands or my fingers, specifically to stimulate energetic points on the body called pressure points to help people get their energy back into flow. And energy um ultimately is, or I could say it like this: information is energy. And so, with that being said, Reiki can be sent over distance. And so, like Jill mentioned earlier, I work with people all over the place, whether they're local in the Boston area or remote in New York, in California, in Canada. I was working with a client last night who was in Canada. I was handing him Reiki for he has issues with he has issues with memory loss and just anxiety and stress. And so I was working with him to great effect. And so yeah, the Reiki can be sent over distance as well as transcend time and space, just like we're able to talk to each other, right? For all you listeners out there, whether you're on the radio or on the Zoom cast, this information is being broadcasted to you remotely, right? Same thing can be done with Reiki, my friends. So keep that in mind and check me out, baby.
We will. And how can we reach you, by the way?
That's right. You can find me at my website, God Hand, Reiki, and Acupressure, not acupuncture, acupressure.com. You can find me on social media at Shaq_Wukong, Wukong, like Wu-Tang meets King Kong. And you can find me on YouTube at Wukong's World. Search for Reiki Explained, Mental Universe, and you should find a thumbnail with a kid eating cake, which in that video, I explain Reiki in about as clear terms as you can get, and with science to back it up, since everybody loves a good scientific definition.
Good. Wow, wow, wow. I love it. And clearly, you are just love the work you do. How did you even find out about this modality and how has it benefited you personally?
Well, I feel like this is sort of true for all Reiki practitioners, is that like Reiki sort of finds you. And so I on my path, I was always into martial arts. I was always into spiritual or metaphysical practices ever since I was a child. And I got into Tai Chi Chuan, which is a yin martial art, which you cultivate your internal energy. I have been meditating since about the age of 7 or 8 years old. But just on my path, practicing martial arts and meditation. I had a friend who introduced me to the term Reiki because I was already a Qigong practitioner, which Qi and Qi are basically siblings. They're the same word, just pronounced differently, and it's a word for energy, or basically bioelectricity. And so I had a friend who told me about Reiki, and so I
Mhm.
was able to do a search, and I found myself an excellent teacher here in Boston, in the Woburn area, who um who taught me Reiki. And then for acupressure, I learned from Grandmaster Dr. Young Jung Ming of the YMAA, who taught me about that, as well as I learned a little bit from Montauk Chia as well. But
Mhm.
yes,
Got it. All right.
right,
Thank you
right,
so much.
yeah, Reiki found me, guys.
No, and now that you're helping so many, I mean, what else? Tell us some stories about the people you're connecting with and helping.
Well, they range quite a bit. Like we were mentioning earlier, I've worked with clients. I'm not gonna say suffering, but experiencing different, uh, the things such as depression, anxiety, arthritis. I had a client, this older woman who had arthritis in her fingers, where she couldn't even open like a bottle or like do anything with her hands anymore. Like her thumbs were heavily afflicted by arthritis. And after about two and a half sessions of acupressure, her thumbs are completely back to normal, like functional, like um completely mind-blowing results, honestly. And just it really makes me happy to be able to help people get back to functionality. Have clients with like nerve pain. I had a woman who her feet were killing her, and just even to touch, like she couldn't wear like shoes anymore that were like, like closed-toed shoes, because just having that over her feet or her toes in that area, it was just excruciating pain. I did Reiki on that in one treatment. She was able to put on socks again, put on shoes again without the excruciating pain. And then a couple more treatments, the pain was gone, and now she's able to wear closed-toed shoes again, and be free of that excruciating pain. Just like I said, had a client with IBS who I haven't seen in a while because the treatments are extremely effective. She is now able to eat basically what she wants again, and doesn't experience the pain in her midsection like she used to. I had clients who had or I had a client who or I have a client who he's had panic attacks for his whole life up until he started to be treated by me. And he's had them since since childhood. But now the panic attacks are completely gone, and now we're just working on um improving his posture and just getting him into even more of a state of peace and spiritual alignment, um and helping him to progress further on his spiritual journey. um yeah, over distance Reiki sessions. I have clients, yeah, like I mentioned, the one with with memory, and anxiety issues. Those are improving, greatly. We've only had a couple of sessions, but already he's having a lot better experiences at work, and being able to actually do his job and not have his memory be as much of an issue. Just being able to remember the little things in life. And so just helping people get back to a place of functionality, helping them get back to a place of where they can feel normal again. Like that's ultimately that this work is really is fulfilling for me. And yeah, I couldn't be happier to be able to do this kind of work. So
Great. Well, I love it. And if someone does want to reach out to you, do you have an initial consult with them before you get started to figure out what they want? Is that no obligation?
definitely, yes. It's a 90-minute consultation, to, for us to get to know you and see how I can help you. The first third of it or less is a chakra assessment, which is a questionnaire, which it gives me a very accurate reading of your chakras. And for those who are unfamiliar with the chakras, histon, it's basically energy centers along your spine.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from the crown of your head, which is not your spine clearly, but starting from the crown or the top of your head down to the base of your spine, there are different parts of your body that correspond to different parts of your personality or your mind. Even if you touch different parts, like if you put your hand on your heart, you may begin to think about like love matters or feelings, right? You put your hand on your stomach, you might feel vulnerable, right? If someone grabs your stomach, right, or puts their hand on your belly, right, you may feel vulnerable. If someone puts it lower around your bladder area, you may feel differently, right? So just touching different parts of your body, even your throat, for your like the neck and like mouth area, you express, right? You can talk and move your neck and move your shoulders, expressing yourself. This throat chakra, the brow chakra, to put your hand on your forehead. This is where you imagine, this is where you think, this is like your prefrontal cortex. and the top of your head is your crown chakra, which could, it connects everything. It's the big picture kind of chakra, and your sense of oneness with everything. Or if it's imbalanced, there would be a sense of separation. But yeah, these different energies centers are like different mind states or states of mind or being that you can hop into. And when they're imbalanced, you may experience different kinds of ailments, so to speak, because the mind precedes matter, right? The mind precedes the body, and so when there is a blockage in one of these areas, then you will experience actual physical ailments, and that's the difference between Eastern and Western approaches to health and medicine. Is that in the East, the focus is on preventing things. It's more preventative, and that's where we attack or approach things from that metaphysical place with the energy, with the qigong, with the reiki, right? That's where we approach from there. In the West, we sort of wait until that there's an actual issue, and then we try to attack it from from the level of matter, from the level of chemicals, trying to sort things out chemically or physically by actually cutting out organs, putting in screws and plates to try and impact matter with matter. But ultimately, that's I'm not going to say it's too late, because there's great things that happen or that can be done with Western medical approaches, but ultimately that preventative place, or coming from a place of preventing stuff, is going to be, to me, it's the ultimate. And really, you can't have yin without yang. You can't have mind without body. And so, or well, I'm not going to get into that, but ultimately we want to meld the two. And so what I want to say here too is that that Reiki is a excellent addition to anyone's recovery process for surgery. Say if you had something cut out of you, or replaced, and you're in a recovery process. I'm working with a client now who had screws put in her lumbar spine. She had to put, or have a plate put there, and screws, and the recovery process, it wasn't going as smoothly as it could have been until she started to come and get treatments. And I don't even have to go and visit her. Sometimes I send her distance, Reiki, and then other times, I'll go and I'll meet with her, and do some acupressure, which really helps to clear out the physical energy centers and channels and excuse me, meridians, to really help her get back into a state of flow. Um, because yeah, stuff's really good.
And acupressure, not to be confused with acupuncture. Just share what acupressure is specifically, please.
Right. So once again, acupressure is a less intrusive form of what you might call acupuncture, but instead of puncturing, we're just putting pressure. Um, we um we use the power of healing touch to inject chi into specific pressure points on on your skin, on your muscles, and on your fascia. And so,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times energetic blockages will manifest in the form of tension, pain, and other forms of maladies. And so, our techniques here at God Hand Reiki and Acupressure are aimed at reinvigorating your musculoskeletal system and your energetic circuitry, while also serving as a form of corrective flexibility. And so a lot of our clients will experience greater ranges of motion, that they're able to effect with their anatomy. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's similar to like deep tissue massage, but it's not the same, because it's imbued with chi and energy, and energy is information. And so if you're able to tell me more about what is going on with you, I can then, use that to help heal you further. And ultimately, when you go and see a doctor or you go and see a health professional, ultimately what you're looking for is their attention, and you're looking for their care. right? Because a lot of times a doctor will prescribe you a medication or they'll schedule you for an appointment for surgery. They're really not doing much more than taking your vitals, taking
Mm-hmm.
your blood, pressure, and doing blood work. And then they choose a way to, um, a strategy of, like a plan of action, right? And so ultimately what you want is back to their attention and back to their care. And you want them to care
Yeah.
about what you're going through, and you want them to spend time thinking about how to help you. And so ultimately you're placing faith in the medication that they prescribe you. You're hoping that the surgery will actually help you and not harm you. You've got lots of cases where people end up with scalpels in them. People pass away in surgery, right? With Reiki and acupressure, you don't have to worry about anything like that. I'm not going to leave a scalpel in you, right? I'm not going to prescribe you a medication with a bunch of side effects that will have you needing another medication to counter the side effects of the medication that they gave you. And look, it's no knocks to Western medicine. Like I said, East and West go great hand in hand. But the thing about Reiki and acupressure that I offer is that there are no side effects other than your well-being. And
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, the acupressure serves like a dry surgery in that I can actually realign your muscles and reactivate underactive muscles to help get your body back into alignment and back into functionality without cutting you open. You know what I mean? And I can actually like realign your physical body, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, the effects of it are profound, and they come with no side effects. And like I said, in the first session, you'll get and I didn't even finish my statement, but yeah, the first part of the consultation is chakra assessment, and then you'll get at least an hour treatment of either Reiki, acupressure, or percussive therapy, or even a combo of them based off of what I feel will be best for you. You know what I mean? And my goal at the end of the day is to help you. Like I said in the last one, for all my clients, I ultimately want them
Yeah.
to get on my table and then get off of it healed. I don't want you to come back. like like
Mm-hmm.
I want the healing to actually take place and for you to be able to resume your normal life, because ultimately I want to help as many people across the world as I can.
Got
And
it.
it really starts with the mind state and the inner being. The inner creates the outer.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you so much. And we still have 3 minutes left. What else did you want to share today, Shaq?
um well, yeah, a thing I kept on saying like over and over again is that information is energy. And a thing you hear a lot from Reiki healers or just spiritual people in general is love and light. They'll say love and light, which is really, which is really cute. But I think having an understanding of what they are, right? Of what love is, which I mean, love, like love is broad, but it can be boiled down to its bare minerals to come out as patience, voluntary acts of kindness, and willing acts of participation or cooperation. And light, like I said earlier, is information, it's energy. And so with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, the service that you get from God Hand Reiki and Acupressure, aka GRA, really is love and light. I'm going to be patient with you. I'm going to willingly and voluntarily be there for you and serve you. And that's ultimately why I'm called the God Hand, because the hand serves the mind, right? God is the ultimate knower, right? And the hands do the work of the mind or the will. And so ultimately, I am a servant of the people
Mm-hmm.
for the people, and I'm here for you. And like I said earlier, that people. Well, I didn't mention this, but people, they'll believe in Wi-Fi. They'll believe in electricity, which you can't really see. You can see the effects of electricity, or maybe you can see lightning. But ultimately, people believe in all types of things that they can't see or explain. And a lot of times, you really don't need to explain things, right? But Reiki energy is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than your Wi-Fi. It's the natural Wi-Fi of
Mm-hmm.
the universe. Because like I said earlier, health is our natural state of being. We all practice Reiki without even knowing it. To different extents, right? If you get an injury, you bump your elbow, well, what do? You put your hands on it, right? If your child gets injured, you place your hands on them, right? And so this healing energy it's natural, and it's innate in all of us. And so with that being said, the information being energy, we can send this over a distance, right? You
Yeah.
are uniformly
Mm-hmm.
connected to who you were as a child, as a teenager, as the person you were yet were yesterday, even though you might be different. And this connectivity is through something called quantum entanglement. You can go and look that up. I don't have time to explain it here, but ultimately, it doesn't matter where you are. The Reiki or the energy, this
Mm-hmm.
natural frequency, can reach you through time and space. All you have to do is reach out for it and
Yep.
ask, and thou
Mm-hmm.
shalt receive. And so,
Perfect. Well, thank
blessings
you.
and love.
And send us our love. Shaq, how can we reach you directly?
You can reach me directly on my website at godhandreikiandacupressure.com. You can reach me on social media at Shaq_Wukong, or find me on Instagram too at godhand_Reiki and acupressure. Um, and you can also find me on YouTube at Wukong's World. Again, search Reiki Explained. Mental universe, all memento everything. That
Okay.
will give you an excellent basis to understand how this works. And yeah, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I
Thank
can
you so much.
help people with all types of things. So yes, blessings and love to everybody. I hope to hear
Thank
from
you.
you.
All right. Well, have a great day. Thank you so much, Shaq. Have a fantastic day and a better weekend.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.